and welcome to another episode of the Stick Niner Empire podcast. I'm here with Ortiz McLaughlin. How are you doing today, gentlemen?
Doing well,
Good.
doing well. Another
Gotta
win,
be
another
feel-
week, another win.
What's
Got
your
to be
name?
feeling good. 5 games in a row. We started the year 5 games in a row. Had a little bit of a downside. Went into 5 games in a row again. We're taking care of business. We've been taking care of the trash. McLaughlin, how you feeling after this last win, brother?
You're that Mike Arango guy I heard about, right?
Yes, I am. They
Okay.
call me Iron Mike, Metal Defender 49, whatever you want to call me.
Looking good, man. I can't say enough about McCaffrey. He stays in the most valuable player hunt, and obviously Purdy is making the reckoning to say, what am I doing that wouldn't be MVP? Yeah, what a game, man. The only thing I have, and I'm sure we'll get into it, is what's up with Shanahan in the halftime deal? Like, wouldn't you want to take that timeout? And you got all your timeouts. Everybody's looking for you to call the timeout, and you don't do it when you could have, got some points on that. I thought that was really strange. I thought they paid him off or something. That was weird, man.
It was confusing. There was a lot of confusion right before the half, and I think
There's a
even Nick
penalty,
Bosa.
Yeah, that was weird.
Why,
I don't think anyone understood that.
Why didn't we use it? So I heard something from Kyle after the game. He said there was a confusing aspect to that call. So it was a penalty on a incompletion, which typically if there's an incomplete pass, the clock stops.
Yeah.
But because it was a forward pass past the line of scrimmage, there's some kind of weird
They already
loophole
lost it down. They already lost it down. So it's the perfect time to take a timeout.
So he was asked if he wants to use a timeout and decline the 10-second runoff, which would also stop the clock. Otherwise, the refs could wind the clock. It's a weird thing. He didn't even know the rule, but even though it was an incomplete pass, because of the nature of that penalty, the refs are supposed to wind the clock. So he didn't know the clock was going to start winding. Once it ran off about 10 seconds, he's like, fuck it. It's too late now. Like, I might as well just let it go and we'll go into the half. But he didn't know the refs were going to start the clock after the 10-second runoff. So it was 10-second runoff and start the clock, which he didn't know.
Just looking at the field position alone, if you have this situation where you have all your timeouts, there's no reason not to take a timeout. I thought he needed to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know what that was.
If you guys saw the Cowboys
Carroll thing to get points at the end.
Did you guys notice how the Cowboys beat the Eagles? Like a quarter of their plays were scripted from us, from what we did the week before. I know they call it a copycat league, but dude, they took away everything that we did. That play that we were talking about 2 weeks ago, Ortiz, with the 3 men in motion, 1 man here, 1 man there. The other guy, they stole that play. That play wasn't used by any team the entire year. They even took plays from us from last year. So,
it is a copycat league. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks did it to us. Did you guys notice that? The Seahawks?
Yeah.
The touchdown
from Parkinson last year. Yeah.
That was the play we ran with George Kittle. I think, was it this year?
I think
it's not going to fare well if we play
the Hollywood play again, where they fake a screen to each side and then hit George Kittle down the middle. They did that with Parkinson and
did. Yeah.
It's probably
the Lions used it recently too.
So the interesting thing I see right now, the way things are shaping up, guys, it seems like I almost would rather not play the Cowboys than the Eagles. We beat
Cowboys
them
are hot
with ease. The Cowboys are still a wild card,
more dangerous right now,
and the Eagles seem like they've just taken a fall. I mean,
I agree.
They went from 10-1 to just being.
I'll say what
the Cowboys are playing better, but I still think they have a very suspect defense. And I think our offense, as healthy as it is right now, if we go and play the Cowboys again, it's still not going to be close because their defense can't stop us, because Kyle knows how to attack the Cowboys specifically. Actually, he's attacked most teams pretty well this season, except for maybe Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be close. I think we see him in the playoffs. It's going to go according to the last year's script.
The fact that we
be the same
every
thing.
time.
We own them. Yeah. We have their number.
You know, it's the one team, now that we're on to this, that I really don't want getting in, that I know it's going to sound weird. I'm a hair worried about. I just don't want to play them a third time. I don't want to play the Rams again. I don't want the Rams to go into the playoffs.
See, I'm at that point where I think
believe it or not,
the only team that's going to beat the 49ers is the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree.
The only time we're going to mess this up is if we, don't do what we're doing
I
right
agree.
now. And that's
I agree.
everything. They're
But
hitting
Mike,
on all cylinders.
Yeah, you want me to
really
finish up on
afraid?
this?
Are you
I,
really afraid of the
I,
Rams?
I'm not
what's
afraid of
Kyle's
them. I'm not afraid of
what's
them. I want to bring this up as a
Kyle's
topic. I'm not afraid of them. I
okay?
don't want to play them though. I respect their offense. They can score points, and they've been doing it lately. That's the only thing. If you look at their track record in the last, they could get 30 points a game. That's
What's
the
their
only thing
record
that
against
bothers me.
us? The last 4
Oh, they're
years.
like 0-11 now, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Not
I
to
think the
mention
one
our
being
defense. Our
the
defense is
NFC
stored
Championship
up,
game.
man. We're ready
But
for
when
the
someone's
Rams.
due, that worries me,
That's
though.
easy peasy right now for the way the Niners are playing on defense.
Yeah, the Niners defense is far superior than theirs, 100%. I think the Niners are a better team than theirs.
I'm not afraid of their
100%.
offense at all.
I just don't want to play them 3 times in 1 year, honestly. I think that they can make a little bit of noise.
I'm not
I don't
scared
think
of
it's going to
them.
be
It's
against
boring.
us. I don't think it's going to be against us, but I could see them like going into the playoffs. This playoff picture is not going to last the way it is in the NFC, gentlemen. The Vikings are not going in. The Packers and maybe the Rams are going in. I can tell you that right now.
And some team from the
Vikings are
NFC
not going
South,
in.
some god awful team from the NFC South who's probably going to end up with
The Rams
a
can't get
losing
in.
record.
You know, and
Yeah.
I'm not. No one's
Yeah.
afraid of the Packers.
Right now,
love is
I'm
not
almost.
persistent.
I hate to say this because you guys are going to chastise me, but I'm more scared of Arizona. And I'll tell you why. Because they've got Kyler Murray back. No, Kyler Murray's back.
He's a bum.
No, but I'm telling you, when the Niners get a little, oh, this is an easy one. You go in and Arizona, they don't have anything to play for. You never know what can happen with Arizona. They're kind of a scary one to me. I mean, obviously, I'm not that scared. Like I think
so early on in the season,
I don't see a problem. But
I can't hit an open receiver.
Luke,
Go ahead.
early on in the season, I would agree with you. I think now we're 4 games out of the play, or 4 games from the end of the regular season.
Yeah,
I think these guys are fine tuning their swords. They're ready to go into the playoffs.
I agree.
Like 47 Ronin, just ready to like kill people. Like they're gonna go in. They're gonna go in focused. They're not gonna take any team lightly from here on out.
I agree.
Except if we've clinched number 1 seed and we have nothing to play for the last game of the season, which I don't think is going to happen. But
the Ravens are our biggest obstacle right now because they're the number 1 seed and we have to play them on Christmas, and that scares me too.
If the Cowboys lose to the Bills this week, and let's say the Eagles lose one more time to, I don't know,
then we're
like
sitting
like
pretty week 18.
Right. We win our next 3 games. The Eagles and Cowboys lose at least one. We have nothing to really play for.
That's what scares me about that team. They do have a good running game. They do have a good defense. If you look at their numbers throughout the year, they've been one of the better teams. Right now, if you really look at their numbers, gentlemen, they've been the second best team all year long. It hasn't been the Eagles. And the hell with the Cowboys. They can't beat any good team except for the Eagles the other day. And Seattle's going to finish with a losing record. So at the end of the year, Dallas is going to finish the year beating one team with a good record.
Hey,
so
Ravens have already done that. Ravens have already done that more than once.
My favorite play of the game was Wisnowski. Even though there was offsetting penalties, how awesome was that? He just decided to take off. I've never seen him run like that. That was amazing.
Did you see how fast he was running? I think he ran over 20 miles an hour, which is...
He's an athlete, man.
I don't know if I believe that. I heard that too.
Wide receiver. That's elite quarterback.
And the penalty was bogus, man. He fell down, and yeah, it was a block in the back because of that. But man,
I'm gonna call it.
I really was bummed that there was offsetting penalties because
I don't even think Christian McCaffrey's hit 20 miles an hour. I think if you put those guys in a 2-man race, I think he might get Christian McCaffrey straight up. I mean, that's elite speed right there for a punter.
But it's about explosiveness too up front. If you got two, you can have 2 guys that run 20, but one guy explodes quicker. That guy's gonna win.
Well, yeah,
the best part is that
he hits his max.
A better athlete. He's quick twitch.
Yeah,
he's bad though. He
was
great in college.
It wasn't something they scripted and like said, "Okay, He just looked over and said, "Okay, the last time I punted, there's a big hole right there. I'm gonna run there again. I'm gonna run there this time because I see this opening." And I don't think anyone knew he was gonna do that, which is the funniest part.
It was so good. And I watch a lot of red zone. I've seen a lot of good quarterback play. I've seen a lot of horrible quarterback play. There's maybe 2 other guys right now that I would say are in the same breath as Brock for the MVP discussion. Dak Prescott, as much as I hate to say it, I hate the Cowboys, I hate Dak Prescott. He's having a good season. He has comparable numbers, slightly less completion percentage, more passing attempts, hence more passing touchdowns.
TDs.
He's second to Brock in passer rating, QBR, I think yards per attempt. All the major categories, he's second to Brock. But everyone's saying he's the front runner right now because he plays on the America's team, the Cowboys.
Ooh.
I
What
mean,
do you
Brock
guys say to
beat
that?
him.
What is
That's all that
your
matters to me.
give me your
Brock
case
beat
for
him.
Brock?
Brock Purdy
okay,
had he was
give me-
19 for
let's hear it.
27 for 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he did have that pick. But
which
His
was
stats
on
are
Ayuk.
identical.
Which was
Yeah,
on Ayuk.
exactly.
Ayuk even admitted the fact that
Yeah.
he ran the wrong route,
Yeah.
and Brock was throwing to a spot where Ayuk was supposed to be, and he wasn't there. He's supposed to read the defender. Ayuk ran the right route. He ran like a stop instead of a hook in, and that's why there was an interception. Not because Brock made the wrong read or threw an error pass. That was on Ayuk.
You guys, I released that short yesterday, that 1 minute short of you guys talking about Brock Purdy, and that was a couple weeks ago. And that it's funny that if you look at what you guys say is like, oh, at this point he's basically the best quarterback. Well, that's a couple weeks ago. What's happened since then has only boosted that.
He's getting better.
Yeah,
He's getting better.
I had to cut some of it out because it was so old. But yeah, you guys, exactly what you just said. There's nobody who can even touch him right now, and he makes these decisions and has these touch passes right now. How about the over the head pass to Debo? He doesn't catch passes like that. It was perfect.
It's
so what's great about
Go ahead.
I was going to say what's great about that Debo pass that you just mentioned. Debo was the fourth option. He was not supposed to get that pass. He was not the first read. He was the last read.
Yeah.
But he looked at, I think it was Jamal Adams, was completely flat-footed, was looking to jump up a route that Debo would typically run, which is more of a crossing route.
Yeah.
And he saw he was flat-footed, not ready to defend that deep pass, and he just led him into that perfectly thrown touchdown.
Brock Purdy is seeing the entire field.
It's elite.
He's going through all of his progressions. And think about like the comparison to him to when we were watching Garoppolo. He would literally like zone in on one guy, and I can just look at him the whole way sometimes. And the difference is just astronomical. The defense, they don't even know what's going on because Brock's got something up his sleeve, and then he kind of like has this touch pass. It's just so Joe Montana like that.
Yeah. Cal said his favorite play of the whole game was basically a checkoff to Debo for a short pass that Debo went and broke some tackles, and I think he wound up getting 20-something yards on the play. But he said that was his favorite play because that's what the defense gave him. Like his intended targets were not open. They were looking for a big play. It wasn't there because the Seahawks played those guys downfield. Debo was the last option. He hit him in stride. Debo broke a tackle. Kyle's like, that's exactly what a quarterback needs to do in my system. Absolutely.
He's taking it to another level. Yeah, you know, for anyone that wants to discredit Brock Purdy, it's ridiculous at this point. It really is, because Brock Purdy, other people have had this chance, and there's some guys that have done good with the Shanahan system. Look at Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub was like a Pro Bowler 3 years in a row, guys. You know, and he was good for a while. 3 years in a row, Pro Bowl, almost a fourth. You know, he had Kirk Cousins. You know, he's had some guys.
Matt Ryan.
You get my point. Like, this guy is doing whatever those guys did good, and he's doing it better. Obviously, he can't run like RG3, but he's doing just about everything that's mental.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy does better than all those quarterbacks. And I don't care if he's only played 18, 19 games at this moment. It's obvious. You know what? Let me tell you something about Cam Newton. Can I tell you something? You're going to love this. Man. Cam Newton, he said Brock Purdy's a good game manager, nothing else, right? If Cam Newton was a better game manager, he'd be a better quarterback. Because, yes, Cam Newton was a playmaker, but he can't manage no games. Just some food for thought.
Well, no team wants him right now.
Calling you out there, Cam Newton. I'm calling you out there.
He's not too old. He's not too old to be in the NFL.
Nobody wants that guy anymore. He went to New England.
Well, hopefully he's in your top 5 now, Mike. I think you started within the top 15.
I got him at about top 7. I got him about top 5, top 7. Yeah, top 5, top 7.
What is he right now? So who would you trade for him? Who? Like now,
that's the impossible question to answer, because I don't think I'd trade anyone. He's great for the system. What, Patrick Mahomes?
Especially because of what he
I don't even know if I would trade Patrick Mahomes.
Well, let's put money aside. I mean, obviously we wouldn't trade anybody because he makes literally nothing, and he's not going to make nothing next year either, guys. Like, we can negotiate We can't extend him until 2020, after 2024.
I wouldn't even want Mahomes because he already has. He's like older now. And he doesn't want it as bad.
Well, before we get to
We got
Arizona, just real
various
quick,
subjects.
real quick, I want to talk about the guys that have been thrust into the lineup because of injuries the last week and this season. So the rookie Jair Brown had his best game. Should have had 2 interceptions, except Fred Warner had this unbelievable sniper play and just like took an
Arguably the best
interception.
player in football. In
He was,
defense.
yeah. So it looked like Jair Brown was camping
DK
underneath
against Lenore, man.
duck.
Lenore kicked ass.
Yeah. So Jair Brown had a great game. Isaiah Oliver came in for, I guess you could say, Charvarius Ward after he it looked like he pulled a groin.
2 plays.
They took Lenore out of the slot, put him on the outside, and then they stuck in Womack for 1 or 2 plays. For some reason, took him out and put Oliver in. And Oliver had a solid game. I think he led the team in sack or in tackles. Didn't get burnt. Didn't get burnt the whole game, and
it's important.
Kind of played up to like what we were hoping he would be all season, but hasn't turned out that way. I thought he was phenomenal this game. I really loved everything about his game against the Seahawks, and the guys on the outside, they shut down Metcalf after that first drive. I don't think he
only had 2
catch
catches.
after the first
He only
3.
had 2 catches in the whole game.
Yeah, both.
Really, only 2
in the whole game.
2 or 3, right, in the first.
So he
drive.
had him early. Then he had him super early because I know early in the game he was going through Lenore early in the game. Then Lenore
he was targeted 5 times. He caught 2 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. So after that
Warner,
touchdown,
he got early in the game,
and then Warner baited into getting kicked out of the game. Yeah, hit him in the back, cheap shot him in the back of the head. He got up, put his hands up like I didn't do anything, and then.
What do you think the gift was? What was this gift that Kyle Shanahan gave out to the player who did that?
I had to tell people around, like, you don't know what happened earlier. Like, he probably got Warner probably got hit in the back of the head earlier. Like, defending.
That's a homer if I ever heard one. Well, he did slam him. He did slam him. In DK's defense, I don't think he probably knew that he in his mind. Fred Warner probably had that football when he slammed him because he can't tell. But a wrong is a wrong.
Can you tell me why Lenore got kicked out? It looked like he just came up and shoved him in the shoulder. But for some reason, that was worthy of getting kicked. I'm like, oh, whatever. Game's over.
Anyway.
We can't keep doing that, though, gentlemen. We can't keep doing that. I don't want to do that in the playoffs. This is the second week in a row we get a player ejected.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't Greenlaw this time. Greenlaw actually had a very quiet game to do his Draymond Green impression.
He kept it to the basketball court instead.
So let's stay healthy, Niners, and let's do some predictions here.
And one more thing. Kinlaw. I thought Kinlaw was phenomenal this game. He played for Eric Armstead. He stepped up. He had a sack. He was disrupting.
Stuff to run.
Oh, do we have
that sack is a little fishy though, man. That guy fell. That sack was a little.
Does anyone know?
The guy fell. All he had to do was touch him.
We need him.
I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to come back the Ravens game. I don't think we need him back this week against the Cardinals. Just give him an extra.
He does so much that people don't realize, And
I think we might need to rest Hargrave. Hargrave, I think, pulled a hamstring, so look for him to get a week off against the Cardinals. And there was one other injury. I think it was
Ward.
We talked about Ward.
I'd rather have Hargrave rest. Hey, gentlemen, while we're at it, down in the trenches with Ortiz. Keep the show going. Down in the trenches with Ortiz.
Let's just go right to the future Hall of Famer.
Who surprised you? It's a good segment.
Trent Williams. Nobody surprised me. This offensive line has been steady all year. They were a little off here and there, a couple games against Cleveland and Minnesota, but other than that, they've had a really good year. Trent Williams.
Absolutely.
I lost count. I think he had like 5 or 6 pancakes this game. Was just opening hole after hole on that left side. Let's start with the first play of the game. 72-yard run by Christian McCaffrey.
Unbelievable.
No surprise, it was to the left side. Him and Banks had probably their best game of the season. Christian had 145 yards on the ground. I think who else came in? JP Mason came in, had some nice runs. So, the offensive line is in sync. They're
I think we're going to see more of that too.
Defensive lines. They're pancaking guys all over the place. I love how they're not okay with just getting one block. Like I see multiple times where guys, they get that initial block, they go downfield, get another block, they block 2 guys at the same time.
Ayuk, baby.
Great examples of Aaron Banks doing that. Colt
Ayuk.
McKibbitz. Yeah. Cole McKibbitz.
Ayuk
John
running 70
Feliciano.
yards downfield the whole way.
Yeah.
That
And
was
there's a little bit
amazing,
of,
man.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but the right guard position is kind of back and forth. It's a little bit of Feliciano mixed with Burford. So
They can
they're
compete.
kind of
Yeah.
competing against each other and see like,
Yeah.
all right, who wants to take the bull by the horn and earn that starting job? For now, it's a competition, but it's been interesting. Though I think both guys have played pretty well, and
So
it's
your
never a bad
overall
thing to
grade,
have
Ortiz, for the
2 starting caliber guards. Overall
Is it a
grade,
competition, or
Hey.
are they just like saving the energy?
Hey.
Like, hey, you're not very good. You go.
I think
in,
it's a
you go in.
I think it's a competition. I think Feliciano earned the
I
right.
think it's a
when-
mixture of both of our ideas.
so
when he came
overall,
in
you
and
guys, I
started at
think
left guard.
when this team is doing really well, they're doing extremely well, and it's all going to come down to everybody staying healthy and
Best team in
hopefully,
football.
I mean, look what happened when Williams was out, or Debo was out. We had that 3-game skid, so hopefully that does not happen, and we just win out and continue to see just the talent on this team and how diverse everything is, because Purdy is using all his weapons right now, and I'd like to see Kittle get a few more catches. I'm sure he will. He got hit a few times hard in that game.
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah,
He's
they're
probably
going after
sore
him.
right
I
now.
don't like to see that.
But yeah,
They-
See
Pete
that.
Carroll knew where we wanted to go in the beginning, and
totally.
kind of
See
countered
that.
that. But
so let's get out of here. We got it. So let's talk real quick about Arizona, guys. So what do you guys think is going to happen, and give me some scores?
Ortiz,
I'll go first.
I'll give you
I'll
the
go
field.
first. This game doesn't take a lot of figuring out. There's not going to be a lot of dissecting the Cardinals. We're going to go in there. We're going to hammer them in the first half. It's going to be over by the third. The stadium's going to be half empty. Everyone's going to be like, this game is over. Cardinals are going to start looking at off-season vacations hotspots, maybe like kind of beach like behind me over here.
Oh, boy.
And yeah, we're gonna start preparing for the Ravens by the fourth quarter. So that's how I see it. It's gonna be a blowout, 45-16 49ers.
Who's their quarterback right now? Oh, that's
Kyler
right.
Murray.
Murray came
Kyler
back.
Murray's
Kyler
back.
Murray's back.
Murray can't.
His feet always give us a problem. We'll see what
His
happens.
feet always give us a problem.
They do.
I never understood why we wouldn't. I always have this idea of like, where Kyler Murray's running. Why don't you just dive for the floor? You know how Brock Purdy throws for open grass? I would
Yeah.
just dive for the floor.
So Mike, how's it
Go
going
for
to
the
go?
floor.
Mike. I'll give you $5 if you can name one Cardinals wide receiver.
Johnson.
Is Moore still there? Is Moore still
Johnson.
there?
Johnson's pretty good.
I don't think
Moore?
he
Is Moore
I don't
still
think
there?
I don't think he's playing.
Oh, you can't
Let's
call
go.
that on air, man. All right.
It's all right. I'm gonna have to cut this thing up like crazy. Go ahead.
Just
Cut
roll
that
with
sucker
it.
up right there. Final score, gentlemen. Man, I keep saying, I said this last week. I'm going to say it again this week. You can quote me on this. This team is such a great team. There's no way that we're going to finish this year without hitting 50 points at some week. So I thought it would be last week. It wasn't. I'm going to say 49ers 50, Cardinals 6.
Wow. All right.
2 field goals.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be 28-27 Niners.
No.
And that's gonna be
I
because
really-
Kyler Murray has over 150 yards on the ground.
Just put a spy
I
on
can't
them.
even say
There's
it
no
with
one
a straight
else.
face.
But just put
Can
a
we-
spy on them.
can
They
we
got no
re-
receivers.
Can we revisit your prediction next week? I think
I'm gonna go with the 50 to 6.
I'm
I
just
think you're gonna be so
playing
off.
with
It's
you
gonna be
guys.
comical.
It's gonna be
Jeez,
four-
you're gonna back me up,
It's gonna be
baby.
42-14 because Kyler Murray scored a touchdown and he threw one. Okay, it's
Ortiz gonna
40
back me up on
42 to
this one.
14 is my actual prediction.
34-14,
42-14 Niners.
42 to 14.
And
Garbage
Wisnowski
points.
does
Can we
another
count
sneak.
garbage points. I hate counting garbage points.
Wisnowski
Hey,
has another
sees-
first down on a sneak that they don't expect.
No, we're gonna save that for the playoffs. We're saving that for the playoffs.
All right.
As long
Right,
as
guys.
Mason and Mason also. Mason is going to be the Mozart of the playoffs this year.
All right.
Maybe not the
And
Mozart.
now,
Because he was the
The
first
Mo-
number one.
Candlestick Point in
not the
San
Mozart,
Francisco,
but the
California.
The Mozart,
It's the Stick
Mozarts.
Niner Empire Podcast
Hey,
Show.
if he as great as
with
the
your
Amadeus
hosts,
Mozart, then even better, right? Yeah, that's a great musician ever.
Iron Mike Arango, Lucas Ortiz, and of course, Lucas McLaughlin. Go Niners!